Hey, sports fans, my name's Connor Bennion. Welcome to another episode of the Babbling Bennion podcast. Today is October 20th, 2022, and babbling is all I am going to do today. One topic, one team, the Utah Jazz. New look, gotta sport my merch that I bought yesterday. Brand new hat, that's all I'm gonna do because I don't want the shade overlooking my eyes. And then I got this beauty, free shirt yesterday, purple out in Salt Lake City. Vivint Arena was rocking the Utah Jazz. I hope this doesn't age badly. The Utah Jazz are back. They have me in full swing, and I hope that they have every Jazz fan out there in full swing. I want everyone, after I break down this video and babble on and on and on about the Utah Jazz, I want them to be saying what I'm saying. Donovan who and Rudy who, because I tell you, the Jazz did what needed to be done in the offseason, and they have been rewarded immensely. This is a Denver team, 6th seed last year, no Jamal Murray. This was a Nuggets team that had Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. This is a complete Nuggets team that's going to be good with the defending two-time MVP, with Jamal Murray coming back from injury. This is going to be a Nuggets good team as far as I'm concerned, and this was a Jazz team that was on fire that put them out very quickly. This game was an interesting start being there. Denver jumped out pretty quickly. They had some nice fast breaks, had some good ball movement, had some good turnovers. They were up 9-4 early at one point, if I recall correctly. But as I look down and break down this game with my iPad statistics, this is what it comes down to. The Jazz led by 7 at the end of the first quarter, 37-30. The second quarter, they put the hammer down in every facet of the game. I'll break this down, but they outscored Denver 38-23 in the second quarter alone. A 15-point difference plus a 7-point lead after the first quarter. They were up by 22 at halftime. This is a Jazz team that played a complete game yesterday. Let me break it down for you. Basketball is simply offense, defense, and I would argue fast break, because that's what I would say. I believe there's offense, there's defense, and then there's the in-between, which is the fast break, which is the transition. So, I mean, here's what it comes down to for me. The Utah Jazz in every facet of the game not only dominated Denver, but played a winning basketball. Here's my breakdown of the Utah Jazz of yesterday, and hopefully the remainder of the season. Will Hardy, I believe second youngest coach currently coaching in the NBA. His roots dig deep from the great Greg Popovich. And what did we see yesterday? We saw an outside perimeter team who was tremendous from a three-point line. I apologize again. I'm trying to pull up things as I go. Utah's three-point shooting percentage was 42.1%. They went 16 of 38 from downtown. So again, not the greatest shooting percentage, but dropping 16 threes in the game obviously gets you a fair amount of points. But the way they attacked the basket, their overall shooting field goal percentage was 50.6%. So they were making, they were making a shot, missing a shot, making a shot, missing a shot. Utah out-rebounded Denver 43-35. Assists, Utah won that battle 27-21. 10 steals from both sides. 3 blocks for Denver to Utah's 1. 21 turnovers for Denver to Utah's 19. And then fouls was pretty even, 23-21. Free throw line percentage, I mean, both teams were, Denver was tremendous. They went 17 of 18. Utah had some something to work on. They went 23 of 31. But here's what I want to break down in regards to the Jazz finding a way to win with a complete game, and why I am calling out Donovan and Rudy who. Do you know who the Jazz leading scorer was yesterday? A Mr. Colin Sexton, part of the Donovan Mitchell trade. I wish I could go back. I wish I had a crystal ball and I could go back. Hopefully you just believe me, but if not, I'll have to get someone to corroborate my story. I believe it was 2021. The Jazz were playing Cleveland, and I went with my cousin Dallin. And this was a big topic yesterday because when we went to that game in 2021, we both watched Cleveland, and we both have followed Colin Sexton for quite a while, and we both were looking at each other, we were like, man, I wish the Jazz would make a move for Colin Sexton. And that was last season. That was the 2021 season. Colin Sexton, in his Jazz debut, let me break it down for you, led the Jazz in scoring off of the bench with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, and a +8 in 20 minutes. The leading scorer came off the bench for the Jazz. He was 6 of 12 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free three-point line, and hit 1 3-pointer. And here's the thing, before I continue to break down the game, this is coming from someone who was, I guess you could call, a tough love Jazz fan. And what I mean was, last season, I kind of was hoping that the Jazz were going to lose. And I was hoping that they were going to find a rough ending because they needed something to make them change. And boy, they got it by being eliminated by Dallas in the first round. So as I watched the Jazz and couldn't bring myself to root for their success because I knew it would not lead to ultimate betterment, as I watched them and I watched the Jazz struggle and I watched the Jazz mope through the season and lose in the first round, I felt like there wasn't that energy, that level of dedication. Last night, Colin Sexton hit his 1 3-pointer off of an assist from Lauri Markkanen, who we'll talk about, by the way. Markkanen, however you want to pronounce it. It was, I want to say it was probably like, I think it was with about 2.5 minutes left before halftime. Jazz were up by like 19 or something. It was a great defensive stop. They pushed the ball up. Markkanen cross court to Sexton, corner 3. I was talking to my cousin. I was sitting there. I was like, we're just pumping. I was like, he's got it. There's got to be some huge play that gets the crowd to explode, like making this 3! And the place is just erupting. It's going wild in the middle of the second quarter, towards the end of the second quarter in the season opener. This is a Jazz team that has a new identity and a fully backing system of fans that are ready for a championship. Danny Ainge said about a month ago, we are dedicated to a vision to bring a championship team that this state deserves. And knock on wood, don't want to be too quick, I do believe that it's definitely on its way. I will give the reality check, like I hope we all do. Let me break down something for you. Rudy Gay had 16 points and went 4 for 6 from downtown. We're not going to get that from Rudy every night, as far as I'm concerned. I hope we do. I really hope we do. So I get that this Jazz team can't automatically be the favorite after one game. Games go your way. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night, like we've talked about before. But kind of getting back to what I was pumped up about, this is a Jazz team that took Donovan Mitchell and sent him away. Removed a toxic, self-absorbed star player who thought that he needed the kingdom handed to him and shipped him away. Took the reigning not the reigning defensive player of the year, but took a 3-time defensive player of the year whose offense has been atrocious outside 3 inches from the basket and sent him to Minnesota. And they took down Denver like a surgeon, surgically dismantling the Nuggets 123 to 102. In the third quarter, Denver did end up winning the third quarter 27-19 to cut the lead into single digits. And then fourth quarter, the Jazz strung along a 29-22 victory in the fourth quarter, again, to win this game 123 to 102. Again, a Denver team that has the names of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. this is a good Denver team, especially as Jamal Murray continues to heal and gets back to the top of his game. I believe this was a very important way for Will Hardy to start his Jazz tenure. I do believe he is the future of this Utah Jazz team, somebody that hopefully is the man to lead them to the promised land. This is a Jazz team whose starting five of Markkanen, Jared Vanderbilt, Kelly Olynyk, Jordan Clarkson, and Mike Conley saw great success. Again, leading scorer Colin Sexton, 20 points in 20 minutes. Who is the second leading scorer? Markkanen. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. You know who Markkanen and Sexton played for last year? The Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan who? I get it's almost unfair to compare 2 players to 1, but that was the point. Take a player in Donovan who, mediocre defender at best. By the way, I bring that up because my cousin, again, Dallin, I'll reference him a lot because, again, he's the man. He brought up the mention Colin Sexton is coming off of injury, and he was precise. He was cut. He was slim. He and his defense were like a bulldog, unlike Donovan. Smart shot selection, unlike Donovan. Ultimate team player, unlike Donovan. So again, I get that it's a little unfair to compare 2 players to 1, but you got to think that Sexton and Markkanen were the 2 biggest pieces of the Jazz trade, and yesterday they put up 37 points. 37 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists put together between those 2 players. Part of the Donovan trade. Part of the Minnesota trade, Jared Vanderbilt, 7 points, 12 rebounds, led the team in rebounds, and ended up fouling out, had a lot of foul trouble, had some really questionable calls. Part of that trade. I didn't hate the Bogey trade, sending Bogey to Detroit, because I believe it was Kelly Olynyk who came over in part of that trade. He had 8 points, 1 assist. He ended up getting in early foul trouble. 2 were not him. 2 were absolutely not him. But anyway, we're not going to focus on that. Starting center, thought he played tremendous. Jordan Clarkson, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He went 3 for 9 from the field, so I'm hoping that he gets a little hotter, a little more, not confident, but, he sees the ball go down the net more frequently. I think that'll really help him altogether. But, again, a good starting game. Again, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And then Mike Conley, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. Here's the thing about Mike Conley. He was one of the first people that I wanted to see go, if I'm being 100% honest. But the way that he ran the floor yesterday, he may just be the Jazz guy. Because I loved Colin Sexton coming off of the bench. I know that he was the leading scorer, and I know that he is a starting caliber point guard. But I loved his play off the bench. He was electric. He was leading the charge. And when he was not on the court, when he was on the bench, that unity. There are so many things that I can't not babble about with this Jazz team. The unity, the fight, the drive, the passion. I just felt like it wasn't there last year. And after one game, it was there last night. I don't know if I've ever heard Vivint that loud. And again, it was middle of the third quarter in the season opener, and that place was roaring. The final 2 minutes, standing ovation. Everybody stood for the final 2 minutes saying, "Welcome back to Jazz basketball." To round out some players, Neil Alexander-Walker had, actually, everybody played yesterday because they did a 5-man, actually, I think it was 4 players that hadn't played yet, and they subbed all 4 in at the last minute. Neil Alexander-Walker had 2 points. Talon Horton-Tucker, love Horton-Tucker. Great pickup. Again, who do we send? Patrick Beverley. Not going to fit the Jazz system. Not somebody they wanted. Go get a player that makes a difference. I love his length, but his ball handling ability for his size, tremendous. He ended up having 3 points, 1 assist, 2 steals. Walker Kessler, I believe part of the Minnesota trade. Rookie from Auburn, 12 points, 10 rebounds, gets a double-double. First Jazz player in history to record a double-double in their NBA debut. Walker Kessler hammering down what is arguably the deepest Jazz roster I would argue that we've ever seen. 4 players in Kelly Olynyk, Jared Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler, and sorry, I thought I must have made a mistake on my calculation. Jared Vanderbilt, Kelly Olynyk, Walker Kessler, those 3. Oh, and then not Agbaji, his Kansas teammate, Udoka Azubuike. When Azubuike gets healthy and is back in, those 4 rotating in and out of the center power forward slot, depth, nothing but contribution. So huge shout out to him. Malik Beasley. Who was Malik Beasley part of? The Minnesota trade with Rudy. He had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Loved his play. He's athletic. He can stretch the floor. He's got great ball handling skills. He's a great rim finisher. Love Malik Beasley. This Jazz team is built to win. Rudy Gay, like I said, 16 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, had a turnover, 2 personal fouls. He went again 6 of 8 from the field altogether, 4 of 6 from downtown. Colin Sexton, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Again, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. Agbaji and Fontecchio and Bolmaro ended up being, again, 3 of the 4 that were subbed in to end the game. This is a complete Utah Jazz team. I hope this doesn't age badly and become a meme, but my, oh my, the Utah Jazz are back. They have my full support. Go Jazz, go. Looking forward to seeing where this season moves along. I'll babble about them as they continue to win, should it be that way. And I like to think this team is far from what ESPN ranked them as, the 28th team in the NBA. Far beyond that. To me, you have to make the goal of 5th seed or higher. Last year's team, 5th seed. If this Jazz team, which I do believe can be a top 4 seed, should they get that, the experiment has already succeeded, and this is year 1. I see nothing but greatness, goodness, glory, and better things to come. Shout out to those Utah Jazz. What a way to start the season. Utah Jazz basketball is back. This has been the Babbling Bennion podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Connor Bennion. I almost said Mr. Unbiased. Mr. Connor Bennion, the Babbling Bennion. October 20th, 2022. Check out the Unbiased podcast. I'll leave a link in my description below. Please like, share, comment, because I'd love to hear your thoughts and learn from you, and hopefully reference what I've learned from you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't miss any action. Thank you again for joining the Babbling Bennion podcast. Go Jazz. Go is what we're going to end on. Thank you. Have a great day.